Get in, nerds. We're playing Victoria 3. I haven't talked much about our economy yet, so I'm going to do that while leaving the game at speed 1 so that we can see everything that's going on here. So, as you've gathered from our situation here, we have a lot of labor available. We have huge numbers of peasant populations, and virtually all of this population is peasants. Almost virtually none are unemployed because we have an absolute barrel full of arable land. Where's our subsistence buildings? Where's our subsistence? Oh, I mean, here's where we want to be. So just as one example, in Chubu we have 139 subsistence rice paddies. In Kansai we have 175. Actually fully employed here in Kansai. So I think that means Kansai is going to have an amount of unemployment. Alright. And we're pretty close to maximum employment on our subsistence buildings in a lot of these places. So we have a huge population of peasants, and that's what's providing us a good chunk of money in poll taxes and income taxes. Mostly these are poll taxes, and that's a little bit of a misnomer because they're not actually poll taxes. They are land taxes that are paid exclusively by our peasant population. And then there's a tiny amount of income tax. So, with that having been done, let's take a look at our market and what we're actually producing. I've got us sorted by most to least expensive relative to their base price. So our most expensive thing is fruit, because we're not producing a lot of fruit, but we're producing an amount of fruit. And after that is meat. Both of these are going to go up significantly over the course of the game. In particular, we're going to find more uses for fruit because we're going to be building food industries which use it to produce alcohol, liquor, which right now all of our liquor is being produced by our subsistence orchards and rice paddies. So there's a lot of it in the market, but a lot less of it's going to be built over time as we get a lot of those people into other jobs. Similar situation with grain. We've got quite a few rice farms, but almost all of our grain is being produced by subsistence rice paddies. So, moving down from the top, there is a little bit of demand for opium, a tiny amount. There's no opium in our market. That's okay. Got our interest activated in Rhine. I'm just going to take a second. I'm going to improve relations with Great Qing. I'm going to improve relations with Joseon. And I'm going to improve relations with our potential colonizers over here, because I don't want to be in a situation where I am fighting them while I am still trying to get my my internals sorted out. So, moving right along here, we have these luxury goods. We're not producing nearly as much as our pops would like us to produce. This is porcelain, luxury clothes, and luxury furniture. And again, we got these ordered with sell orders here and buy orders here. And this is what's determining the price, right? There are a lot more people who want to buy porcelain than we have porcelain available. So these industries are going to increase modestly over time, because these are each at about double their desired level. Now, these are about double their base price, because people want about twice as much as we are producing. Next is wood. This is happening this way because I produced a bunch of construction sectors that are using wood for their construction method, and didn't build any increased wood logging industry. I will be building more of that as the game goes on, but for now, this is where we live. This next thing is services. This is produced by our urban centers. This is going to get dirt cheap over time if our economy functions the way I would like for it to function. This is fabric. We are producing a good amount of fabric for our fabric needs. Part of the reason we're out of balance is because the construction sectors use a small amount of it. And that's, if you know how traditional Japanese housing is built, you know why that makes sense. Next here we have furniture. This is regular tier furniture now. This is luxury up here, and this is regular tier. Both of these are produced by our furniture industries. We've got a good amount of that. We're not necessarily short on that at all. This is paper. This is produced by our paper mills. That's the other half of the equation of what I was talking about in the last episode with government sectors, so I'm going to explain that a little bit more fully as we get going. But that's the primary thing that paper is used for government admin. And POPs consume some paper, which is interesting. This is sugar. It's also going to be used in distilling alcohol, but for the moment it's just consumed by POPs for food. Not for seasoning and whatnot. This is fish. It's another food resource. It's also going to go into our food industries over time, but for now it's being eaten directly by POPs. This is clippers. They're being used by our fishing and whaling industries to produce the necessary fish and oil that we need. This is clothes, another staple resource that is produced in our textile mills. Actually, most of it's produced in our subsistence buildings. That's interesting. I'd forgotten subsistence buildings produced clothes. And then it's being consumed by our POPs. Silk goes into our textile mills to produce the luxury clothes that are up at the top there. I don't think it can be used directly by POPs. Tea and coffee are luxury beverages. Those get consumed by higher tier POPs, wealthier POPs. Same with liquor. And then this is grain. It is consumed by everyone. It's mostly produced by subsistence buildings. Dyes are produced by dye plantations. They're used primarily by glassworks in our cases, but once we've got lathe unlocked, it will be used by our brain. Once we get lathe unlocked, it'll be used by our clothing industries to produce more clothes. Glass, shockingly, is also produced by glassworks. It's currently being all consumed by POPs, but it will be used more later in production methods, particularly in our food industry production methods and in our construction production methods in the mid-game. And finally, all the way at the bottom, our cheapest resource is hardwood. It's being produced by our logging industries and currently only being used to produce furniture. The main thing we're going to use to produce, use that hardwood to produce, is guns. So that's going to be a big thing to do next. So right now we're working on this iron mine. Oh, right, wait. I had one. Yes, I was going to explain the paper situation to you. So I was talking the other day about the production method that we use to standardized filing system, which is what's going to first make it really genuinely possible to fix up our... Oh, you know what? I misread it before. It doesn't produce... Simple organization produces 5 tax cap per level. Filing cabinets produces 10. Standardized filing system produces 15. So it's a 50% increase in taxation capacity over filing cabinets, our current method, but it costs double the paper. So that's not going to make economic sense until we unlock a later production method for our paper mills. Maybe sulfite bleaching, which is going to cost us sulfur, which is another mined resource. But sulfite piping, but maybe we need to wait until paper bleaching. Sulfite piping is available with mechanical tools, which are the production Texas here. Chemical bleaching is down here. I don't think we need to wait for this, though. Because, I don't know how obvious it is, but mechanical tools, atmospheric engine, and railways are going to be critically important for us to achieve just as early as we can. Go up to speed 2 now. Lathe is going to let us activate these higher tier production methods once we've got the necessary tools and other resources. But atmospheric engine, mechanical tools, and railways are critical. Railways unlocks the railway building. It uses coal and engines to produce infrastructure, which is what we need to build buildings and states. It unlocks an automation method for mines and plantations that we're not going to use until the mid-game, but the infrastructure thing is key. Until that we have that, we're going to be getting all of our infrastructure from ports, and that's not hugely efficient. Even the cargo port only produces 5 infrastructure per level, and it costs clippers, which are reasonably expensive to produce with our shipyards down here. We are going to need to build more of these, but not yet. From a technology perspective, leading up to that, we have the atmospheric engine. This unlocks atmospheric pump engine for mines. The Atmo pump engine is a critical force multiplier for mining. It's going to add a coal input, but it's going to increase the output of all the other stuff in the mine, which is going to be critical. The other one's mechanical tools. This is going to unlock our steel tooling in our tooling workshops. It's going to unlock sulfite piping, which I just talked about for paper mills, and it's going to unlock slaughterhouses for the livestock ranches, as well as unlocking precision tools and furniture manufacture, which will let us produce more luxury furniture. Once we've got this second production method for paper mills and the third production method for government admin, it will become reasonable to start building up our taxation capacity. Our tooling workshops are not currently producing any tools because there's no market for tools, because I only just got tooling workshops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of our logging camps and switch them over to sawmills. That's going to produce more wood while costing more tools, and that's going to be good for our overall economy. So as you can see, we now have 19 demand for tools here, and our number of tools output is increasing. And that will continue to increase until we're producing the number of tools that we need to run these lumber mills. I am working on the iron mines now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to complete these right next to each other at the same time as I complete another level of tooling workshops, and then I'm going to switch the tooling workshops over to iron once the mines have the capacity to produce. And it's going to take a second, but we're going to get all of those ready to go. I don't have the capacity to subsidize those. Do I have the capacity to subsidize these? I don't. So it's going to be a little rocky when we get started, but they're going to eventually produce enough for both of them to function. Particularly because the tooling workshops will already have a market for their tools in the sawmills that I just enabled. As you can see, this improved our finances a little bit because it drove the price of wood down by just a hair. We're going to be continuing to do that. We're also going to be queuing up some additional sawmills, some additional logging industries as we get going forward. And I want these to pop all at one time because I want to be able to switch my tooling workshops over to iron tools immediately, and at the same time still have enough tools to be able to do what I'm doing. So I don't know if that made a huge amount of sense, but I think it will. I think you'll understand it better when you see it. We are at about 3/4 of the way to completing mandatory service. This is going to be very important for us to get our economy fixed up. For getting our military fixed up, rather. At the bottom of these tools, we'll be building a few more construction sectors. And we'll be able to get some of these once we've got iron output, we'll be able to get some of these construction sectors. I think we'll be able to get one construction sector over to iron frame, because we'll be able to do 2. So iron frame costs 50 iron per level, and iron mines at the baseline production method only produce 20. Alright, so we'll be able to switch one construction sector over to iron frame construction. Or no, we won't, because we'll be using iron frame tools. That's okay. Having iron frame tools is more important for us for the run as a whole than having iron frame construction, because our construction situation is it's more important for us to get tooling up, because getting tooling up will allow us to get more logging camps, which will make construction cheaper. And that's just gives us a lot more flexibility. We are going to have eventually a pretty large construction sector, but we're not going to we're going to convert it over kind of piecemeal, same as we did as the Ottoman Empire. As you can see, I don't know if I highlighted this. I think I did, but it bears repeating. We cannot use trade routes. We have no capacity to import or export. We have an isolated economy. So you're going to see very clearly what we're building and what we're growing and what we're using. All right. Let's go ahead and get the speed up a little bit here. Maybe we can get mandatory service completed. We haven't had a lot of announcements or anything down here. And we'll keep it at 3. Let's just take a look at Japan. Starting in the north, in the island of Hokkaido. We haven't colonized most of this territory yet. Ainu Mosir is the decentralized nation that is currently occupying this area. We've got a little bit of, I think, iron there. And Sapporo is our primary settlement in this area. It is a very, very small town in this time period. Moving south, we would get to Honshu, and this is where we start having roads and small settlements, including Sendai, where we've got quite a bit of urbanization happening here. None of these roads have railways because we don't have railways yet. We get down to Edo, the capital. No. Edo is not the capital. Is it? No. Edo is where the emperor lives, but Kyoto is the capital. Yeah, you got a nice little carriage there. It's nighttime now, so you can see the land is lit up. Here is Mount Fuji. And we have quite a few other cities here. A lot of these places are going to be, here's Nagoya, a lot of these places are going to be big, vibrant cities eventually. But for the moment, they're just small cities. We have Yamada here, Kobe, and then we get over into the western part of Honshu. As daylight breaks, we have Hiroshima and Shimonoseki. I'm probably not doing super well with the names, but that's okay. We've got Shikoku Island here. This is Takamatsu and Tokushima. Again, I'm trying to get these complete at exactly the same time as one another. So I'm just going to wait for this one to flip over so that I can pop the other one in front. Take that. Very good. There is a bridge here. A land bridge. It's interesting. So in Hearts of Iron 4, there's a land bridge. There's a bridge here, and another one over here. But I guess that's not the case in Viki 3, which is interesting. And then finally we have Kyushu over here, with Hakata, Nagasaki, and Kagoshima. And then here we have Tsushima, which is not its own state, but has been famously represented in the gaming world previously. And yeah, let's get down real close to the capital and we can see this lovely architecture that we've got here. That's nice. Alright. Anyway, that's Japan. That's Japan at the beginning of the game, and you're going to see a lot more of it as we get built up and get stronger and stronger. We're almost done with our iron mines here. I'm actually thinking about whether I might end up going back to the pre-sawmill method with my construction sectors in order to increase my, in order to be able to get faster construction right away. There's mandatory service, so I'm going to go right into... This is unlocked National Militia, so I'm just going to go ahead and start working on it. Everyone is pleased about that. That's very good. And then we get these iron mines completed. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do that. So, we're going to grab these logging camps, we're going to drop these back to simple forestry, and then... No, that's done. That's done. I'm not going to do that. Sawmills. Sawmills every day. We're going to go ahead and get our tooling workshops over to wrought iron tools. And now that we've got the iron mines built, we're going to be producing even more tools. And that is going to allow us to get another logging camp over to the sawmill method. So, this puts tools right here in our market. We're producing enough to get by. We'll be producing more and more iron mines as the new tooling workshops get underway. I realized I forgot to... I should have had the tooling workshops complete at the same time. I didn't have the presence of mind to do that because I was too thirsty for higher construction methods. Oof. The temptation is so large. We're doing it. Now we got a shortage of iron. That's okay. I believe our iron mines can rise to the occasion of doing that. Assuming they can get the tools they need, which I believe they can. And we've got our first enactment event. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding National Militia, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the shogunate, has staged a wildly acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. We have all success chance and advance chance right now, so I don't feel the need to seek out any success chance. We're going to get that on our own. So, National Militia will be on everyone's lips now. This gives us 10% more enactment chance. This sure puts the shogunate in a good light. That makes the shogunate stronger. Or, let's ensure the play gets a wider international audience. This gives us 20 prestige. It's permanent. I'm going to go with that one. Never too early to get building up your prestige. Looks like the private sector is actually about to finish out some logging camps. That's good for us. So let's look at these mines. The mines are productive. They're having a hard time employing because the amount of tools they need to function is pretty high, and we're just not producing all that many tools right now with our one level of tooling workshops. This is going up slowly, but again, it's kind of a backwards thing because the tools need to feed the mines, but the mines need to feed the tooling workshops. So this is going to take a little bit of time for it to build itself up to maximum capacity. It also needs to wait for pops to move into these capitalist jobs. Again, I can't subsidize these, so this is only going to be able to go as fast as it can go with our iron mines producing as much as they can, as fast as they can, in order to satisfy our need for iron coming from the tooling industries and also the construction sector that I set up. It might have been wiser not to switch over the construction sector immediately, but I'm okay with how it's going right now. We're getting another level built very, very shortly. Excellent. We've had our next tick on National Militia, and that has moved it to consideration. The Haymin, the rural folk, are actually happy enough that they've left the movement to enact tenant farmers, which is just fine because I didn't really need a movement to enact tenant farmers at this point in the game. I don't want to have the shogunate be mad at me. It is a good thing to do eventually, but serfdom is still very, very popular among the ruling class, and I can see why. So we're not worrying about that for now. We're just worrying about getting these tooling workshops built so that we can live and function in a world where we need tools. I think the next thing we're going to build is another level of iron mines. We'll get those built in Tohoku. So I'm going to put those in front of the arms industries. In order to produce the amount of arms that we need in order to survive, we're going to need a lot of iron. And in order to produce the amount of everything we need to survive, we're going to need a lot of tools. With that being said, I don't want to hold off too long on the arms industries, because the arms industries are necessary for us to enable our higher tier production methods, which we do need to do. The United States are fighting another uprising against Native Americans. That should not surprise anyone in this time period. So once we complete this next level of tooling workshops, we're going to get 2 more construction sectors. And that is going to help us to continue to build up. As you can see, we're producing very, very little construction here. And the reason we are is because all of our construction, we don't have many construction sectors, and they're all on these low construction methods. So, discord within the Buddhist monks. An influential faction within the Buddhist monks has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of the National Militia. Themselves in favor of the law, they've now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How can you stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you no sense of honor, of duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition, and I dare say I am not alone. With their support, the bill shall pass. This weakens the Buddhist monks and gives us 15% enactment chance, or the shogunate extend an open hand to these mavericks. This will give us a big reduction to the strength of the Buddhist monks and only 10% enactment chance, but it will increase the power of the shogunate. I don't necessarily need to increase the power of the shogunate right now, and I don't want the Buddhist monks to get too weak, so I'm just going to go with the first one. It's going to give us more enactment chance anyway, which is just fine. Moving right along here. I'm still watching to get this going. And as you can see, we've kind of leveled out. We're producing enough iron now for everything we need, and we're producing 60 tools in our tooling workshop. As we build another tooling workshop, it's going to increase the cost of iron by 20, and that's going to drive us over where we need to be, sadly. So I'm going to actually pull this iron mine up in front of the tooling workshop. That might be a mistake. You know, it's fine. We can tolerate this tooling workshop being inefficient for a little bit while we don't have the iron to do the stuff we need. But actually, I'm going to put the construction sectors first because, again, construction speed is a desperate need in this point at this point in history. Maybe switching to iron to pig iron tools was not the smartest. Or maybe once I get this one built, I'll go back to, hey, they ended the movement of tenant farmers. Maybe once I get this one built, I'll go back to doing wood frame for now, just while we get this other stuff built out and we get some more iron mines built. There's the law progressing to adoption. Very good. No setbacks, no problems. That's going to significantly improve our finances as well. Everything's going fine with our international relations. We're not doing much. I don't plan on doing a lot of aggressive maneuvering in the early game, and we'll have plenty of time to damage relations with the powers we don't want to have good relations with as things get going on. On the other hand, I can't move too far down in production methods for my construction industry because I don't have that much capacity to produce wood. And anyway, doing iron frame is what we're going to need in order to live in the long run. So probably we don't need the arms industries straight away because, again, we don't have a production method where we can really take advantage of that yet. So maybe what I'll do is I'll throw 4 more levels of iron mines into Kanto and tick them up to the top where we can do what we need to do with them. Oh. Huh. Excellent. Started a construction section. Let's just finish it. Advancement. We're up to 81% enactment chance on National Militia. That will be very good for our armed forces. That's right. Yes. I was doing the construction stuff first. As you can see, we're going up in wood demand. A lot of our other demands are basically static at this point. We're now producing more tools than we need, so we'll go ahead and grab our logging camps and set them up to sawmills. And we are now producing as much more wood, and that's very good for us. Ooh, the Buddhist monks are happy. That's giving us some extra authority to play around with. We've also developed a very strong base of loyalists. This is looking like... That's not actually that many. That's right. I always forget how huge the population of Japan is at game start in this game. But having this number of loyalists is good. It's already giving us approval from various groups, particularly... Hey, there's gold in Hokkaido. There's gold in them there hills. That's already giving us what we need. So, there is a solid market for tools, and the number of tools available is increasing as we get our tooling workshops up. And now we have National Militia. So this has reduced our number of barracks to 37. That's 5 in all of our main provinces and 2 in Hokkaido. We don't have any in the Ryukyus. We'll go ahead and build those. We'll queue those in. We'll get those done at some point. The intelligentsia are no longer marginalized. That's not ideal for me, but not a tragedy. We'll see what they do. And for now, it's all iron mines all the time. We're going to get enough iron built up to... I do want... So the question is whether it's more important to run more tooling industries or more construction sectors, or more effective construction sectors. And I think the answer is more effective construction sectors. So I am going to continue with building out these iron mines, and I am going to continue to flip construction sectors over to iron frame. This is going to slow down our development of more effective methods, particularly butchering tools here, but it's going to be worth it. Flipping over to butchering tools will... Cool. Flipping over to butchering tools will increase our output of meat, which will increase our overall capacity to feed our population, and that will increase our standard of living. But for now, that's not as important. We also don't have a lot of our methods that require tools straight out the gate, so I'm not super worried about that stuff. So yeah, we're just going to continue to build up our iron infrastructure here. Devout scandal. Why are you always being scandaling? It has been revealed that Heihachiro Oshio of the Buddhist monks has been having a secret affair with a member of the clergy. His resignation is being demanded. The very fact that this sneaky bastard thought he could get away with such a gross misuse of his power shows everything wrong with the leadership of the Buddhist monks. Force him to step down. He is a moderate, and that's perfectly fine with me. Or ignore it. That makes him much less popular. I'm going to force him to step down. Our new guy is a authoritarian. Neat. Alright, so we've talked quite a bit about economic development. And that's an episode. This has been a very chill one. Our quest to build up a Japanese economy from nothing is going to continue next time, but for now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you all on the other side.